At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Northwest Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 479-203-5880, or visit our website at directservicenwa.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now. At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your...
All right. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. We've got a good one coming up. Ty Richardson's going to be on here in just a little bit. So for those of you who are watching after, maybe you're not here during the live, just keep in mind we're getting the audience warmed up, trying to get people in here. Of course, we're going to get Ty in here in just a moment, and that's when the show will really get going. Remember, if you guys have any questions or comments, fire them away for Ty. For TYE, Ty Richardson. Again, any questions or comments, fire away, and he'll do his best to answer, and I'll do my best to answer. How about that, huh? Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Trying to get all these out across the socials here. I'm not very good at the challenges of doing this on OBS versus StreamYard. I'm telling you, they're two different worlds. So if you wonder why the tweets are a little bit more limited and the social media sharing is a little bit different, that's why, because StreamYard facilitates those things completely different. All right. We do have an update, and again, we will get Ty. We'll get his comments on the most recent decommit. Varkey's Gums has decommitted from the University of Arkansas. Pretty sucky, not gonna lie to you. I'm not real well, I mean, it is what it is, right? What can you do about it? He's going to decommit. He's got a visit with, I think it's Cal this weekend. I saw where Cal just recently had a pretty big commit out of the portal just recently. So hang on, let me get this. Let's get this shared here. Oh Lord, that's not what I wanted to share. I'm trying to get this on Discord. Yeah, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe if you're new here. Trying to get this across everywhere. There we go. That should work. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Most overrated hamburgers on the face of the earth. Here we go. Again, if you guys are just joining, we're going to get these shared across social media. Oh, by the way, shout out to our sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. They offer same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Give them a call. Give them a shout. Hey, I need you guys to come over. Take a look at my door. They'll do it for free. Quality parts. Better than best results. 501-244-3667. And they'll come look at it for you today. The Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzaria, located on Emma Street here in Springdale. Great pies. IPAs on tap. Awesome staff. great environment. Go check out the Odd Soul. Again, located in Springdale. So yeah, Varkey's Gums decommitting is a bit of a that sucks. I'm not gonna lie. It's that was one I was really excited about. That's now two different tight ends they've really gone after. Thought they had a really good shot at, and of course Gums committed. This one committed, and then he decided to decommit. And again, he's got a Cal visit. That's why I need a producer right here. I'll pay someone $25 a show to come be my producer. There we go. Let's read chat here. Eric Musselman is your team's. Wait, what? Eric Musselman is your team's coach's wife's boyfriend. All right. So from that, I'm just wondering why McFadden isn't sending his son here instead. He sends him to Coach B. Is there something Darren sees? I don't know. I don't know anything about Darren McFadden's kid. I mean, what's his name? It's not Tank. Is it Diesel? Diesel McFadden? I don't know anything about Diesel. I have no idea. Maybe when Bielema was here, if that is the case, what is he going on an Illinois visit? Listen, maybe he's got a connection with Brett Bielema. You remember when he got here, he was the running back guy. He was the coach that was going to run the ball, right? He was going to run the ball. You're going to run out of the strong eye or I formation. Not a real super complicated offense. We're just going to run the ball down your throat. Maybe Darren McFadden connected with him on that. I don't know. I remember that was a big deal when they hired him. Like, they're going to have what they call pro set offense, but it was really, I mean, let's be real. We know what it was. It was two tight end sets, strong I formation, offset I formation. We're going to run the ball in and outside the tackles, right? That's what Brett Bielema, that's what he was. That's what Brett Bielema was. Let's just be real. So I don't know anything about that situation. I didn't realize that Diesel, God, how old is he now? He's got to be 15. How old is Diesel McFadden? Well, good for him, man. I mean, I hope he gets an opportunity. We'll have to wait and see. He's still young. Or is he older than that? Because I don't know. Ty is on his way. He just texted me. He's having some computer issues. So we're going to wait just a second for him. Let me share these across Facebook here while we're waiting. Again, if you are watching after the fact, please feel free. Obviously, you'll know when you fast forward on YouTube, you'll see Ty's face, and that's when the interview will start. Instead of complaining, griping, and moaning, I have no control over that stuff, okay? Now, it's all good in the hood here. We're fine. This will be a first. We've never had Ty Richardson on, although I reached out to him a while back. We text back and forth from time to time. And I told him a long time ago, like, man, I need to bring you on. There's several other people that I've reached out to that I swear, if you're in the audience, I have not forgotten about you. I will get you on. I know. Why didn't you copy and paste? You are not cool. There we go. Copy and paste that. Again, I'm going to hire a producer who wants to do it. $25 a show. I mean, hell, John Hawes practically is a producer, right? He shares across all the socials. He does a lot, and he shares everything. He's really good at it. Maybe I ought to be paying him $25 a pop. There we go. I think we got most of the shares out of the way. First world problems. I'm telling you something. I know it's bizarre because people complain about that. Well, I got to wait on. We've. It's kind of out of my hands at this point. We just do what we can. Ty's a busy guy. I'm very happy, very cool that he's taking time. Listen, this is what he does every day, Monday through Friday. He talks Razorback sports. For him to take time out of his late afternoon, early evening, whatever, to come on here and talk more Razorback sports, man, I'm telling you, he's a real one. TYE is a real one. Ty Richardson's a real one. I'm telling you, I like the guy. I guess you could hire Pittman if he has a bad season. Why I'm hoping he. It would take a monumental fail for Sam Pittman to be terminated. I mean, it would have to be like an 0-12 scenario, 1-11, a whole bunch of players decommit. You have a mass exodus like what's happening in Colorado with Deion Sanders. I don't know what to make of that. I kind of think Colorado is the perfect place for that to be happening, though, for Deion. You can hate on the guy all you want, but I feel like that is the perfect place. If he's going to experiment in this manner, I mean, so what? If it doesn't work out, oh, no, I got to go back to being prime time. I got to go back. Well, I mean, not the prime time that we all remember, but I've got to go back to the life of being Deion Sanders. Woe is me. You know, but he truly believes in what he's doing. He wants to be a head coach. He wants to coach at Colorado. And what a place to do it at. Can you tell me what Colorado's record was a year ago? And for them, it's like, who cares, right? If the experiment doesn't work out, we had Deion as a head coach. He's kind of reformatting the idea of what it means to reload. I mean, they are reloading from the ground up. They had so many players hit the portal. I'm trying to hang on. He's having some serious technical issues. It's all good. He'll be here when he's here. But I think why not? Why not at a place like Colorado? It's a different kind of hire for anybody. You listen, we all knew when he left where he left, a no-name school in the middle of, well, not really in the middle of nowhere, but more or less a school you've never heard of. You knew what you were kind of in for with Deion. He's going to do things his way. He told those guys, like, go ahead and hit the portal. You knew what you were in for. You saw this coming for Colorado. And look how it ended up, right? Or look how it's ended up so far, I should say. I listen, year one, I think it's going to be a disaster. I do. I think year one, they're going to be lucky. I mean, I could be way off kilter here. I think they're going to be lucky to win like 4 games. I think they're going to be bad. It's going to have to be, I don't know if you want to call it a long-term thing at Colorado, but it certainly feels like you're kind of playing the long game, whatever the hell that means anymore in this world. Thanks a lot, TikTok. Thanks a lot, millennials. But we want it now. That's been going on before TikTok. We can't put it all on TikTok. This has been a problem in society. Probably since the microwave, I would imagine. I think the microwave is where it started, where it really all started. We want it now, right? So whatever long-term means in college athletics, but they're going to have to wait it out. It might take a couple, 2-3 years before Colorado really. You talk about rebuilding. That is the very definition of what's going on right now in Colorado. So we'll have to wait and see. I do think there's a very big possibility that Varkey's Gums ends up at Colorado. That whole thing has Deion Sanders written all over it. For him to commit, by the way, he committed, which is true for so many transfer portal players now. I would argue like 90% of them, it seems like, that have committed to Arkansas. Gums committed without, that I can recall. I don't think he took a visit here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have Otis Kirk or anybody to correct me on that. I don't think he took a visit here, whether an unofficial or an official visit at any point in his time, whether as a recruit or as a player. Once he hit the portal, once he was in college and established and hit the portal, I don't think he ever went on a visit. I really need that to be fact-checked. But anyways, that has been the case so often, right? And then for him to just all of a sudden bounce like that. How many players out of the portal have committed to Arkansas and decommitted? There's another one. I don't – not very many, not for football. I'm trying to think off the top of my head how many kids out of the portal committed to Arkansas and then decommitted. Again, please tell me. I don't think there have been very many. I think you can count on one hand in the amount of time that we've been doing this. Blame sliced bread and electricity. Sliced bread and electricity. I'm telling you something. The modern era, the comforts. Listen, we complain about it living in a microwave society, but man, It's like when people blame fast food for obesity. Okay, but I kind of look at the individual. Listen, I'm fat because I can't turn down Taco Bell. That's on me. That's not on Taco Bell and their delicious nacho fries and their gordita crunches and their beef supreme chalupas and their chicken quesadillas. I can go on and on. Their bean burritos. That's on me, not on Taco Bell, not on the microwave. It's not sliced bread's fault. There's some people that need those comforts, right? That instant comfort. Okay. I see Ty's image. I think he's good to go. Let's see if he's if he can hear. Let me switch over here on my here we go. All right, we're gonna go boom, and then we're gonna go boom. There he is.
Can you see me, Ty? I apologize for not being punctual. For whatever reason, this computer decided to go berserk today on me. I hate when I'm not on time, and so that frustrated me a little bit. Sorry about that.
Don't even worry about it, man. We were sitting here just we were blaming microwaves and TikTok for for society today and how everything needs to be now.
Well, if there's one thing that you can blame for society being the way it is, TikTok is a good starting point, I'd say.
I think so. Yeah, I said I think it might have began with the microwave, but TikTok has certainly been like the icing on the cake for this generation, especially for millennials. So everybody, of course, without further ado, as you can see, Ty with an E, Richardson from the Morning Rush, man. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. All you do is talk Razorbacks all day, 5 days a week, and now you're taking time out with me to do more of that.
I'm considered worst Ty on this program. I'm with the real Ty, so appreciate you having me on, man. Excited to get into a bunch of things, and I'm always down to talk Razorbacks. People sometimes will come up to me at bars or restaurants and like start talking to me. I was like, you probably do this all the time. You probably don't want to talk about this. I'm like, that's why I got into it, dude. So It's just part of it.
Well, I know when I saw you at the spring game, I thought, I don't know if he wants to. He's busy. He's working up in the media box, and I thought, well, I don't know if he wants to talk Razorbacks while we're at a Razorback event, but we did a little bit. A couple things caught our eye in that spring scrimmage. Not a red-white game anymore, just a spring scrimmage, quote unquote. Well, first off, I just want to say, if you guys don't already watch the Morning Rush, can you tell them where? I know in Northwest Arkansas it's 99.5, but just tell everyone where they can kind of catch you guys and just kind of what you're all about. The Morning Rush with Tommy Kraft and Chuck.
Yeah, really appreciate it. It's really Chuck, Tommy, and Ty as the young guy. I think I need to go last in this situation, but 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison Mountain Home, 96.3 Hot Springs, kind of Central Arkansas, and then 95.3 in Fort Smith, the River Valley, and wherever on hitthatline.com. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. I'll tell you what, Ty, this whole YouTube generation and getting this live video out, which is really taking the shackles off the sports media industry as well as a bunch of others. Yeah. It's definitely benefited you, and it's benefited us as well.
Yeah, I pop into y'all's chats in the morning, and I try to listen to you. No disrespect to any of the other sports broadcasters, but I do watch you guys the most. I talk about what you guys talk about on your show sometimes on my live shows. But the fact that you guys, first you and Tommy do such a great job, and then you bring in Chuck, and it's like, oh my God, they just kind of bought the market with that. It's a fantastic show. I love listening to them. Even when you guys have Clay Henry on, which isn't as often these days, but they certainly rib you pretty good in the mornings, man. And you're a trooper for it.
Well, I think in every young man and ladies to a certain extent can attest to when you enter an industry as a young kid, you are going to get the dog crap and going to get kicked. I mean, it's just part of it. The difference is mine is on a public forum. I talk to my friends that are lawyers, accountants, becoming doctors, in various degrees of society, and they go the same stuff. The older guys, commercial real estate, whatever business line of work they're in, they get this same treatment, but it's not publicized. Mine is just on a public forum, and to be honest, it's good for you. I think every man should have to go. And I'm not talking about bullying. I'm not talking about cyberbullying. There's certain things that go too far, but I mean, I think it's good for you because it makes you, again, stronger in your opinions and this side of things, and then it makes you tougher in the real world, which you got to be if you're going to have it in a variety of different ways.
Yeah. Well, I do think, listen, it makes for good banter.
Yeah.
It's always fun. And I'll always text some friends of mine like, boy, they're really giving it to old Ty this morning. I feel kind of bad for the guy, but no, it's all in good fun. I know you guys are all friends off there, and it's really cool. And you get to say, hey, I got to work I got to work with the voice of Razorbacks with Chuck Barrett. Not very many people could say that. I used to listen to his radio show when I was a kid. Part of the reason why I wanted to do what I do was listening to Chuck. Of course, guys like Rick Schaefer, and you can kind of go down that list. But yeah, that's really a neat opportunity, that you have there, that you get to kind of, pardon the language, you get to shoot the shit with those guys. That seems like a lot of fun.
All right, we can swear on this podcast. I'm glad you
certainly can, sir. My audience knows very well. This is unfiltered, not very PC. You just got to have some thick skin to do this.
Okay. Yeah, we got to be FCC regulated from 6 to 9 in the morning. Yeah, your point about Chucks. I mean, I grew up listening to him. I did not listen to sports rap. You mentioned Rick Schaefer. I grew up listening to Randy and Rick, to Basil, Tommy, listened to Bo and various other things. And yeah. I know my grandpa, who loved reading Clay Henry and Hogs Illustrated, was an avid subscriber and loved listening to Chuck. I mean, he would go to games and have the classic grandpa headset radio listening to Chuck while he was at the game itself. Yep. I know he'd be kicking himself right now if he could listen to his grandson doing sports talk with Clay Henry and Chuck Barrett. Tommy's got great business acumen. I've learned a lot from that aspect. And I mean, Tom Murphy's great at what he does. Richard Davenport as well. I mean, there's a lot of guys and gals too, Alyssa Orange and various others that I've been fortunate to, when I was in college, start a relationship with, and they put up with me this long, which I think is a testament to them. And hopefully they continue to do that for however long I'm doing Arkansas sports media.
Well, I think you're going to be doing it a long time. I really do. I think, first off, you mentioned Tommy's business acumen. I mean, he's top notch, man. Tommy's every time I'm around people and we're talking about media and all this, it's like Tommy's name gets brought up. They're like, yeah, that guy knows his shit. He's the real deal. Let's move on to some Razorback sports. I know you, of course, you love all Razorback sports, but I know you're very basketball is definitely it's something you love to talk about.
Number one, baby.
What are you making of this offseason so far, man? I mean, it seems it's just kind of wild. The setup, the possible starting five, if you look at what they could have to play with on the floor, or Musk can work with on the floor. We're still a little ways away, but what do you make of what he's done so far through the portal and recruiting as well?
It's been the most entertaining offseason to date under Eric Musselman. That's saying something considering the significant impact he's had in the transfer portal. You bring in 5 guys, mostly guards. I guess Davenport's kind of a guard forward, but in addition to that, you're waiting on Devo Davis and Jordan Walsh to make a decision. Nick Smith, Anthony Black made their decisions. Darian Ford, Barry Dunning. I mean, there's just so much going on that you have to keep track of, in addition to when you're being linked, and I say you're being linked as in Arkansas fans are like, you got to go get Hunter Dickinson. You got to go get Ron Holland because he was working out with Walsh and was teammates with AB. You got to get Grant Sheldon because he is an outstanding 6'11", really unicorn from North Dakota State or wherever. I think that's where he's playing out right now or before he hit the portal. So there's so many different moving parts within this offseason of Arkansas basketball. And for a guy in Arkansas Sports Talk Radio, that's awesome, because I'd love to talk basketball 365 days a year, but it's kind of, again, it's less of a year-round sport, unlike football. But the way Musk does things in the portal, you always got something to talk about, Ty.
It's like, yeah, every week there's something, whether it could be July, we're getting reports on whatever's going on. It's kind of wild, to be honest with you. And yeah, the portal certainly has had its impact. I think no matter who the coach would be at Arkansas, you would still have the portal impact. It just would not be it wouldn't manifest the way that Musselman does it. I really think that Musselman, the timing is just perfect. You know, I heard you and Tommy talking about that this morning, actually, and Chuck was talking about this, about how things just line up just right, needing a little bit of luck. Well, who would have thought, you know, you sign Musselman and now you got the portal that opens up. It's like NBA free agency, or it's like G League. You're turning over your roster every single season. It fits perfect for him. And when you talk about his acumen and what he's done in the NBA and in the G Leagues, it's just a perfect fit. No one else could do what Muss does, at least not in Arkansas, maybe anywhere for that matter. Yeah, and you're right. It's a lot of fodder. I shouldn't say fodder. It makes for a lot of good live streams for me, and I know a lot of good stuff for you guys as well.
And Ty, to your point, every college basketball champion has had a little luck along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about some of Arkansas's runs in 94, 95. There were some really tight, really close games amongst those. And, I mean, various champions have either hit a game-winning shot or been fortunate because a player got injured on the other team or something crazy happened. Just part of it. It's not just a college basketball thing. It's a sports thing. And Arkansas needs some luck. They didn't have luck go their way, with maybe the exception of the Kansas and Kentucky game last year. Probably throw another game or two in there. But you had some luck go your way the previous 2 years. Now you're just hoping that this injury bug that has been the football team, the basketball team, and now the baseball team, Dylan Carter with the UCL out for the season, just doesn't seep into 2023-24 once football starts. Because if I have to watch another injury-plagued football season and I have to do a radio show and they go 7-6 or 6-6, I'm just going to want to blow my brains out.
Okay.
I'm just being honest.
But it's real though. It's, you know, someone brought up in our Tusk Talk Discord, it was Will. I don't know if he's in chat or not. Shout out to Will. He discovered, and I should know this being a Fayetteville native, there is an Indian burial ground apparently somewhere close to the campus. And
okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not real. I don't believe in that sort of stuff, the idea of a curse or whatever, but man, I don't know. It's the last couple of years, the way they've played out, injury. I've just never seen anything like this before, where you lose someone like Jalen Catalon, who, let's be real, the only legit, well, I guess between him and Drew Sanders this last year, but the real legit All-American you have in your secondary. How often does Arkansas have a first-round draft prospect in their secondary? How often do they have an All-American of his caliber in their secondary playing the safety spot? And you saw the impact that he had when he was fully healthy. He couldn't stay healthy. He had the Miles Slusher stuff going on. That was a little bit of, you know, combination of a couple of things off the field and Dixon Street, but also injuries, you know, and just catastrophic when you look at all three sports combined. It's unbelievable. And now you have this most recent, we found out today that Dylan Carter is done. He's done with that UCL, with his UCL injury. I was gonna talk about that next. That was gonna be the thing that I move on to, is the Dylan Carter stuff. But since we're already here, this year he had 16 appearances out of the bullpen. He had an ERA of 3.65. I think it was right under 40 innings, if I saw that right. Let's see, 16 appearances. Oh, I already read that part. Hang on. This is what happens when you're trying to read stuff in a hurry. Here we go. Yeah, 37 innings, 22 of his innings came in SEC play, where he posted a 4.0 ERA. So we know that was a pretty big impact there. That's going to be a big impact. You already had 3 other pitchers deal with some serious injuries. What do you make it of this? Listen, I don't want to put you on the spot with this. I probably should have gone over this with you, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But the common rhetoric, and I'm not saying there's anything to it, and now you probably know where I'm going with this, but folks are blaming. You know how this goes. We gotta play the blame game. Is it DVH? Is it Dave Van Horn? Is it Matt Hobbs? Or is it just a coincidence that they're having all these issues out of the bullpen with injuries? What's your take on that?
I'm surprised that you didn't go straight to UAMS, which I've heard some people saying it. I am not going to criticize anyone in the doctoral profession, because they've worked their entire lives to be at their position, and sometimes things just happen. In regards to DVH and Hobbs, I mean, was it Bowman's fault that all his secondary got hurt last year?
Exactly.
I mean, if you want to, I'm picking out an assistant coach. I don't know when. Was it Arginal's fault? Let's say he's the guard guy. Was it Arginal's fault that Nick Smith was hurt? Was it Coach Smart's fault that Trevin? I mean, stuff like this just happens. Sometimes it happens at a more frequent rate than others. And I think, again, what has happened is it's compounded on sport after sport. It's just like you went through the misery and the pain of what football was with all the injuries, and you're like, all right, we're on to basketball, none of this. The number one player in your class is dealing with what he's dealing with, and then you lose Trevor Brazile, who's going to be the sixth man of the year in the conference. All right, we're on to baseball. And I kept hearing, oh, we're on to baseball. And then now the pitching staff, Wiggins goes out before the season, Frank, you've got Parker Rowland, who's had back issues, Tavian Josenberger, Jared Wagner, Dylan Carter. I mean, just keeps hitting you, which stinks. It sucks. And now I'm not going to blame Hobbs or DVH. I just, again, sometimes it's about luck. And in this situation, Arkansas has not gotten lucky from a health standpoint, Ty.
Well, when we were talking about what you and Chuck and Tommy were talking about this morning with needing a little bit of luck, okay, well, this is the opposite of that. I do think it is a coincidence. I'm like you. I don't know how you blame Matt Hobbs. I don't know how you blame. I get it. He's the pitching coach. I don't know how you blame DVH, who actually used to have a reputation for yanking guys off the mound too soon. I remember people used to complain about that, or he didn't develop pitchers well enough on the back end out of the bullpen. All these different people flapping their gums. I get it, but it is something that comes up often, which is the only reason why I brought it up here. It's because it's gotten to be where everyone now, whether it's in the several group chats that I'm in, of course, you and I both know how Twitter can be, Facebook, it's everywhere. So of course it's kind of our job to at least put that debate on the table and talk about it a little bit. I'm with you. I think it's just bad luck. And, I'm not prepared to say that it's anybody's fault. You look at Sam Pittman in spring camp. Okay. They seem to be a little bit more physical. Now, I wasn't there last spring, but I was this spring. I got to see some of the practices, and of course I was at the scrimmage. They were pretty physical, and they lucked out. No real major injuries that we know of. Now, we also know how that can work out. Sometimes we find out later that someone got a little dinged up, but I think it's just kind of the luck of the draw sometimes. Sometimes you get these injuries, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you can look at the preparation and maybe think, all right, well, maybe they were too physical this spring. That's why we lost Torrin Carter last year, although his injury was a no-contact injury in spring camp. So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think you can blame anybody. It just sucks. So to the second part of this, let's just discuss how they overcome it. Do you think all these injuries, especially when you talk about the bullpen now, that's 3 guys that are out long-term. We know they're out for the rest of the year. One of them was your potential ace. Now you've also got the injuries to the batting order. Is this too much for DVH and the staff to overcome to make a good long run in postseason play?
I mean, I've seen a lot of things in this baseball program that have surprised me to the extent of how this team end up in Omaha. When you talk about a postseason run, that's what you're insinuating. That's what you're inferring. I mean, take it case in point last year. That team last year looked dead. And then all of a sudden they go to Stillwater, and they had one of the most exciting college baseball games of the year. They head out to Chapel Hill, at a regional or super regional that I was at. That was Chapel Hill, by the way, is a fantastic town. And they win that. It was incredible. So I'm not willing at any point to count this team out. 2015 is probably the most heightened example where you saw a baseball team that just got hot and then went to Omaha, didn't do anything there. But I think when you talk about the pitching, Hunter Holland can't do what he's done the last 2 starts. I mean, he's got to be that Friday night guy. And based on what Dave said after the game in North Little Rock, there's a debate if they're even going to start him on Friday. They might start him on Saturday or Sunday. So, I mean, you could roll out Hagen Smith in that game 1. We'll see what they do with Tigert. I mean, you get him back, which is good, as you alluded to. So I'm not willing to say this pitching staff is done, but there has to be a guy like Fauci hasn't done anything I think Phil said on the broadcast that his last 3 bullpen appearances, he hasn't recorded an out, which is you just can't have. And Morris was supposed to be counted on this year, and he hasn't delivered like you thought he would. There's other guys that have been inconsistent. I love Gage Wood. That kid from Batesville's got a swagger. Every time he steps on the mound, he's got something about him. He's got a little moxie to him. And again, Tigert, Smith, hopefully Tigert comes back healthy. Smith's been good. Holland's been good for the most part, just not the last 2. And you were hoping Dylan Carter was also going to be good. You're just unfortunately not going to have him, Ty.
Yeah. Again, that is, God, when I saw that, I thought, well, of course it's a bummer. I mean, it's just, here we go. It's like stacking up another, another pitcher onto the pile of injuries. And it's hopefully, God willing, knock on all the wood that's around me. That is it. Hopefully they've made
How
their
about wood right here, brother?
There you go, man. Hopefully they've made that final sacrifice. I will say, I think I'm as concerned about the hitting as I am the pitching. Like, as much as we want to complain about pitching, they've actually responded pretty well. And you mentioned Gage Wood, who's been fantastic for the most part, not early on. I think it was TCU where he struggled mightily. But DVH said, I'm going to use him. I think he's going to help us win some ball games. Here we are. He's probably one of the guys that you look forward to seeing coming out of the coming out to pitch mid relief. But they're hitting. I mean, they lost to Lipscomb 5 hits through 11 innings.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't a Tennessee, with the leading ERA in college baseball. This wasn't Tennessee. This wasn't a team with elite arms. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Lipscomb, but 5 hits through, and again, it's a midweek game, different lineup, blah, blah, blah. But come on, man, 5 hits through 11 innings.
Yeah, Harold Cole goes yard in the bottom of the first, 3-run shot, and you're like, all right, they're about to run these guys out of Dickie Stevens.
Yeah.
And then give Lipscomb credit. The Bisons have actually a pretty good baseball team. Chuck was kind of talking about it this morning. Now, their RPI doesn't look good at 140, but you look at what they've done in their conference, I think they're 11-4. So they're actually a pretty solid baseball team for their league. Still shouldn't be stacking up to Arkansas, even if they're not playing the majority of the Razorbacks' typical starters. So You're dealing with a team that wants to beat you more. And as you talked about, a team in Arkansas that just couldn't get the bat on the ball, which I think has been irritating for Dave at times to see runners in scoring position. I mean, Callie gets to second after Steele in the 9th, is just sitting there waiting to be dragged up, just sitting there waiting to win this game. It's 6-6. The Lipscomb basically gave you the game in the 8th and the 2 pass balls, and it's just like error. They're just trying to lose the game in North Little Rock. And what do? You leave a guy on in the 9th. I think you left either 1 or 2 on the 8th, and you blow it. And you've got to figure out a way. Again, it's midweek. Say what you want. I know you want to beat those guys, and at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. You'd rather have 3 this weekend than the 1 on Tuesday night. But yeah, the hitting has been, in certain cases, it has not been timely, and in fact, it hasn't been existent at certain times.
I agree. Yeah, timely hitting too. Yeah, it seemed like for a while there was a several game stretch there where they were getting hits 7th, 6th, 7th inning, 8th inning. Like maybe we were going to see some clutch hitting and some timely hitting, and then it just drops off again. That's baseball. It's the most fickle sport in the world, I swear. I don't watch a lot of I don't watch soccer, or as a friend of mine once called it, commie kickball. I don't watch a lot of that, but I'm sure it's soccer fans would say, well, we in games and ties, so it is what it is. But it's very fickle, and it can be very frustrating, especially when you can't watch the game. Although that was probably a good thing you couldn't watch it last night, unless you were there. But whatever. They're going to have to mount up and move on and get ready because they got a tough one coming up this weekend. Moving on to football here really quick. We were talking about the very beginning before you came in. We're talking about Varkey's Gums, a tight end that committed to Arkansas to North Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I was all about this kid. What are you making about what's going on at tight end? Should Hog fans, I don't want to say panic, but should there be some concern about what's going on at tight end? Because you've got Nathan Bax, former walk-on, he's looked at probably as your starter, and then a whole bunch of freshmen. What's your thoughts on what's going on there?
Bax to me seems like a Blake Kern type. He's going to block. He's going to be physical, but I don't know how much he's going to help you out in the passing game. You've got this kid coming over from Tulsa who Luke has, who you're really, really excited about, and you should be. But all physicality, going from Bixby, Oklahoma to the SEC, it's a whole different ball game. And I know he's going to be probably put in there more pass catching situation, but he's going to be chipped. He's going to be pushed around, and I'm just wondering how his true freshman body can handle it. I know he's been in the weight program a little bit, but you still need time to develop those muscles as an 18-year-old man. You want to be as you're going up against guys that are 21, 22. Then you look at Ty Washington, who had the touchdown in the Liberty Bowl last year. I know that there's excitement based on just his look. Kid out of Georgia that looks the part. But yeah, I think that they still need to add a tight end. That's why you added Barquise to begin with, because you needed depth there. And now he's gone, or at least decommitted. I guess technically he could recommit, but it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. So I would think that a tight end add is going to happen at some point, but I have no clue, Ty, who they're going to get.
I haven't looked in the portal to see, because after Gums, it was like, oh, well, they're in good shape there. I mean, you're talking about a kid that was he was like, he broke some record for tight ends, some receiving record for tight ends at North Texas. He was all conference. I mean, this was, and not only all of that, but he's a red shirt. He would have been a red shirt sophomore.
Yeah.
So you'd have time to build him while he's here, develop him even more. So I think he would have been a stud here. So I don't know about you. I know he's got a Cal visit this weekend. This feels like a Deion Sanders Colorado type move, if I'm being honest. That's just a hunch. That's not me knowing anything or hearing anything. It just feels like Deion Sanders, like he's got his paws all over this one. I'm feeling it, Ty.
NIL is our first jump and our first conclusion now, which is crazy how far we've come when it comes to transfers and different comings and goings within college football and college sports. But a lot of times there's some truth behind those three letters. And I think about some of the numbers and the facts and figures that have been thrown out. Some we know are untrue, and some we know have maybe some more truth to them than we initially thought they were going to be. So Arkansas, like in facilities, like in a lot of other things, is never going to be one, probably never going to be top 3 or 5, but they'll have a competitive top 25 NIL program, I think. And I'm going to sit here and tell you that I haven't contributed to one Arkansas NIL. I've asked a lot of questions to Terry Prentice, who heads up Flagship, and try to do as much research as possible just to learn about it and learn how the process works. But yeah, this so far Arkansas, Pittman, and DVH have done a pretty good job in the portal, and I think a lot of their wins have been because of transfer players.
Yeah, without a doubt, for sure, especially Musselman. There's no doubt there. And it looks like next year they're going to be very, very transfer heavy. Yeah. We knew this was going to happen. They're not going to get any more. They're not going to go real hard on high school prospects like they did a year ago. We've got questions about Ron Holland. I don't know. Do you have anything on that? I don't know anything other than sounds like it's down between Arkansas and the Ignite, the G League.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jeff Goodman put that out the other day, and Ron, everyone's going to point to the Anthony Black connection from high school and the fact that AB was active talking to him on social media. They're going to point to Jordan Wallace working out with him in Texas earlier this week. So there are some connections that would lead Arkansas fans to believe they've got a shot at this kid. And when a college basketball insider like Jeff Goodman goes out on a limb and puts that pen to paper per se, then that kind of leads you to believe that Arkansas has a significant chance of landing this kid. Now, to me, I don't know if I'm in the minority on this, but given the chance of the 3 players, Dickinson, Sheldon, and Holland, I would take Sheldon. There's not many 6'11" guys that can shoot, that can get to the rim, that can block shots, and that are as versatile as he is. Not that Ron isn't at 6'8" and played multiple positions, but Sheldon's got a few years of college basketball under his belt, albeit a lesser league. That's who I would take. I don't think Muss has his pick of the litter. It's not that simple, but if it was that simple, Sheldon's the guy I'd roll with.
I saw some of his highlights. I remember a little while back seeing stuff on him. He is impressive. His ability to get to the rim, to finish at the rim. He's got a nice shot. I hadn't actually thought of that, taking him over Holland. You might be onto something there. That's because, Holland, of course, 5-star, number 1 player out of the state of Texas, has all the accolades. Hadn't really given that a whole lot of thought, actually. If I had to choose between the two, that's pure conjecture on my part, Ty. And that's all that is. But it's a good debate, though. You might you might be onto something there, because his film is fun to watch, and like you said, he's a little bit older too, so there's a lot of upside with taking someone like that. Well, final thing, what we'll get out on this thing here. This final comment, Brandon Allen, or question I should say, Brandon Allen to the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
And again, kind of putting you on the spot here. Why do you think he doesn't get a whole lot of respect from Arkansas fans? Like, why is he so hated? The guy goes to the Niners, and instantly people are already shitting on the guy. Pardon the expression for anyone who's watching who might be related to Brandon. But he's getting shit on, and I don't know why. I can't understand it. He's still in the league. Yeah, he'll probably be a backup, but why the hate still all these years later? What do you make of it?
I think Arkansas fans are still sore over a couple outcomes in 2013, 2014, and he played under the Brett Bielema era. I mean, you look at BA's timeline. So he was a senior in 2011 FHS, really good baseball player too. So was Austin. Yeah. And I think I was told this. Someone would have to – you're a Fayetteville guy. You might know this off the top of your head. I believe BA didn't throw a pick his senior year. That's at least the lore that was told to me by some Fayetteville guys.
Right. I think that is right.
That way, and I think I looked it up on Max Preps one time, which isn't always accurate, but
yeah, at Fayetteville, his senior year, I don't think he did.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty impressive. So he has a really good senior year, not even half a mile from the University of Arkansas. Basically, comes over, and I mean people remember what happened in 2012. Tyler gets that concussion, gets Monroe. BA comes in, you lose to Colton Browning at home, and I say at home at War Memorial in Little Rock, and then, BA, by the way, you just blew this game against Monroe, and the fans are saying this, but you got to play Bama next week. They got trounced like 52-10 or something like that. I mean, that's a brutal, what it does to your psyche as a true freshman to enter that is it's horrible, a red shirt, whatever he was. And so then he moves on 2013, coaching staff change after the John L. Smith fiasco, and they come in, they go 3-9. There was a chance for them to beat LSU and some other games. It just didn't happen. 2014, they start to turn it around a little bit, go 7-6. They beat the crap out of Texas. And then what I thought changed for him is when that Auburn game, that 4th and goal where he found Drew Morgan on a slant route, I thought he was a different quarterback after that. I mean, I've never had a problem with BA. BA has been cool with me. He's come on the show before. We've talked in person. I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're best friends or anything, but I mean, in the 2/3 conversations I've had with him, he's chill. I mean, he's QB1, man. I saw that guy. I know he's married now with a kid. I mean, I saw that guy leave Z-Bar on Dixon with at least one girl on his arm seemingly every weekend. So, I mean, I just thought he was from my standpoint, I always just thought he was cool. And then he treated me with respect. So I didn't have an issue with him. And I mean, you look at the NFL track record. Was he going to blow it up as an NFL quarterback? No one thought that, but he was seemingly a mentor for Joe Burrow at Cincinnati, and I think Zach Taylor brought him when they spent some time together at the Rams for a reason. I mean, Taylor obviously thought enough of him when he became the head coach of the Bengals to bring him to Cincinnati, and now he's being brought over to mentor a young San Francisco 49ers quarterback room. So I don't get the hate from BA. Is he going to blow up in the NFL in terms of being a starting quarterback? No, but he's definitely got some attributes that coaches, franchises, and GMs are fond of.
I agree. And he's had a couple decent moments in the NFL. He's had a couple of decent moments, not, more not so great than great. But I mean, he has, and the other thing too is you got to look at the pension, right? He's set for a little while.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be just fine with all the people that just can't stand the guy. I get accused of being a BA homer because I played at Fayetteville, because I'm a purple dog. And I get, well, you're biased because whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but okay. But I was also hard on, Demetrius Dean. I say hard. I was critical of Demetrius Dean, a tight end out of Arkansas or Fayetteville. I've been hard on some of the other players. Brooks Ellis, when he was here, had some things to say about maybe some of his play a little bit. That was before I was doing YouTube, but just to the people who were calling me homers, call me a homer. I agree, man. And this is why I asked you the question. I knew you could kind of give a different point of view. I hadn't thought of all the other stuff, talking about him being brought to Cincinnati to kind of mentor Joe Burrow. And I mean, that's saying something. That really is for a guy like Brandon Allen. Thrilled that he's still there, man, and I'm rooting for him. I hope he gets another opportunity to start and kind of show what he's made of, but of course that's probably not going to happen, but unless someone gets hurt. But yeah, I'm happy he's still there, and he's there with Dre Greenlaw. How cool is that? 2 former Razorbacks, 2 former Purple Dogs.
There's that connection. We were discussing that on the show this morning. I don't think Dre and BA were technically ever on the same high school team. I think they missed each other by a year or two. But to say that you've got two kids from Fayetteville High School playing in one of the most storied franchises in the National Football League is really, really cool. And you got the owner, if I remember correctly, went to Little Rock Catholic, if I have that right. I believe I'm correct in saying that. Because you've got, of course, Mr. Walden, who owns the Denver Broncos. Jerry Jones owns the Dallas Cowboys. And I think, again, the guy from the guy that graduated from Little Rock Catholic, forgive me for being ignorant, but I think he owns the Niners.
I hate the Niners. I hate them with a passion. I mean, you look back there, you see why. I mean, I got the Rams helmet.
The Rams.
I hate the Niners with a passion. But I was thrilled when Dre Greenlaw went. And, of course, he's had a pretty good career there, and a lot of people thought he kind of helped that defense go, and now you got Brandon Allen there. But no, I wish him the best. Yeah, I didn't know that. Wait, so one of the owners went to Little Rock Catholic?
I think that's right. Again, you're gonna have to double check me on that, and maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but I believe someone told me that. I thought I looked it up one time, and his name's on the tip of my tongue. It's just not coming to mind right now.
Okay, maybe. Well, I just can't stand the Niners. I hate them.
I understand. Okay. I understand.
That's okay. Who is your team in the NFL? Do you have it in
Packers? Green Bay. We're going to suck this year. I know they just signed Jordan Love to that 5th-year option. Yeah, we're going to be bad. We're going to be last in the NFC North. The cheesehead is not going to get sported. I'm going to wear my Packers AJ Hawk jersey at my fantasy football draft coming up in August, and I don't know how many other occasions I'll be sporting that thing because the Packers are going to be atrocious this year.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. And I have a special place in my heart for the Packers only because of Brett Favre. He's one of my favorite ever to play. Yeah. I love Brett Favre, man. Watching him play back in the day. Reggie White, rest in peace. One of my favorite defensive players ever. I probably, even though when the Rams left St. Louis, I was having a big debacle about who I was going to root for or who I was going to be a fan of, the Packers probably would have been on the short list because I have a lot of good memories watching them in the 90s with Reggie and Brett. All right, everybody. Again, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Shout out to the sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, and the Odd Soul, located here in Springdale, Arkansas, down on Emma Street. And, of course, to the Patreon supporters. I appreciate all of you guys. It takes all of you to make this stuff happen. And combined, it's just it's fantastic. I appreciate each and every one of you. Ty, the better, skinnier, healthier, blonde locks Ty with an E, Richardson, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, man, to come talk a little Razorbacks with us.
You got it, Ty. Trying to grow this out. I feel like my hair's thinning a little bit, so I might have to get some hair hems or something. But Odd Soul, great pizza spot. I can definitely vouch for that, no question.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to ask if you've been there because I know you used to do the phone eats first stuff on Twitter.
Oh yeah, it is a great spot. I mean, there's a lot of good places really in Arkansas as a whole, not just Northwest Arkansas, and that is definitely up there on the top of the list.
I love it. Their pies are fantastic. I've not had anything there that I don't like, including their IPAs that they have on tap too. All right, that's gonna do it. Ty, again, thanks a lot, man, and I'll talk to you soon.
You got it, buddy. Have a great rest of your week.
You too. All right. Oh, we got to get that off the screen. Hang on there. There we go. Boom. All right. So that was great, man. I knew Ty would bring it, and he did. Ty is fantastic. Loved his insight on BA, on Brandon Allen. That's why I asked him there at the end. I wanted his thoughts on that because I've kind of heard him share a little bit of BA stuff on the Morning Rush with Tommy Kraft, but I really wanted him to dig in on that, and he did. He did a great job. So, yeah, we're gonna have to get him on again. That was a good one. That was a good one. That's up there. I don't think I've had a bad guest yet. I think they've all been great, really. But that one's gonna be up towards the top for sure. This is such a great show. Oh, I appreciate that, Leslie. This is such a great show, and it finishes off my work day. Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy I could do that for you, Leslie. I really like. Thank you so much for saying that. I'm, a lot of hate out there in the world. It's always good to see someone say something like that with the kind words. Thank you so much. Tony says, fun show. I'm glad you thought it was fun, my man. I appreciate that, Tony. Thank you. My Bears are beating the crap out of the Packers this year. You know, I usually wait to do my NFL, like really digging into the NFL until like, you know, August when we're getting ready to do our fantasy football draft. That's when I start really digging into all the teams. The Rams, of course, I'll have a heads up on. I'm going to know. I have to do things because I'm I'm really bad ADHD, as a lot of people in my generation do. I blame the shit that we eat, to be honest with you. But, well, in the microwave society part of it too, right? But so I usually kind of take one thing at a time. Right now, it's just off-season Razorback sports. I'll get into the Rams stuff over the summer. Of course, that'll be just for me. I don't have a Rams show, but if I did, that would be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, not a lot of Rams folks around here, and I don't know that I would relate to a lot of people out on the West Coast. You know, I just don't, especially California. Oof. I'm just kidding. There's some good people in California. There's some good people. Stun the likes is William Phillips. Hey, I appreciate that, Will. Yeah, it's going to be I don't know. He says the Packers are going to be pretty bad. I think he's probably right. They are. I think they're going to have a rough year. Yeah. All right. That is going to do it. As for now, Friday's show, I don't know if we're going to have one or not. I'd planned on at least 2 lives this week. We'll probably either go live if we have something to talk about, or again, some of that edited content might come your way. Make sure on your way out you slap that like button. I'd really appreciate it. We crossed 5,000 subscribers. We're over 1 million. I don't know how many views now. I lost track. Once we hit 1 million views, I just stopped caring about the total views. I wanted to hit the 1 million view count, and we did that. But it is still cool to see that we're getting so many different people. We're gaining a lot of new subscribers. So make sure you share the content to your friends and family. Share it across the socials. Make sure you tag me as well. All right. Okay. That's it. I'll see you guys when I see you. Okay. Behave. Enjoy the rest of your week.